What's up there, YouTube? It's Gores here, giving you guys the much promised and much anticipated deck profile for my Tenyi Synchro deck. This is mainly inspired by my time playing here in the OCG while I was in South Korea. Um, Super fun deck to play in person, but in person we have access to the Sword Soul package. Whereas in this version on Master Duel, we're still missing the Sword Soul cards. But needless to say, this deck can still put out some crazy boards. I'm talking ending on Chow Fang, Borreload Savage Dragon, Herald of the Arclight, with the counter trap set. There's just so much, and we're gonna get more into the combos because the combo video is gonna be a lot to take in all at once, but I just wanted to give you guys the deck profile, maybe give some of you guys that are more experienced with playing Tenyi a chance to check out my list and, make it work. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the deck profile. We have one copy of Chi-Wen. Chi-Wen is just a level 1 Yang Zing tuner, and it's also a worm, so that comes into play sometimes, but it's mostly just in there because it's a level 1 Yang Zing. Next up, we have one copy of Despot 001. 001 is what enables us to make 3 Synchro monsters with the Ashina in Graveyard. So we'll get more into the combo video, like I said, later on. Next up, we have the one copy of Jet Synchron. It's a 1-card Halka Fibrax by itself, and just a really solid tuner, and also a machine if you need to make Auroradon. Next up, we have 3 copies of Tenyi Spirit Odd Hurrah, the main starter of the deck. It is a tuner monster that summons itself, which just gives us more access to Halka Fibrax plays, which is pretty important. 3 Max C because it's Max C. 1 copy of Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion. O-Lion is just the another combo piece for our Synchro engine, so we have to run it. Jiao 2. This deck is very dependent on what the rest of your hand is doing, so you needed to have the flexibility of having the level 1 and level 2 Yang Zing tuner in the deck. You're almost never using the effect of this, but it does come into play as a level 2 tuner quite often as when you need to make a different Synchro monster, whether you're going second or first. Really depends on what Yang Zing tuner you're going to summon if you do summon a Yang Zing tuner. Next up, we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom. It's Ash, you got a player. 1 copy of Zephyr Nui. Zephyr Nui is just the best Yang Zing non-tuner because of its level. It's a level 6. So, and its effect, once again, you almost never use the Yang Zing effects except for Chi-Wen. So they're mostly just in there for synchro fodder. Next up, we have 1 copy of Mare. This is for if you don't open a tuner and you need to either give yourself a tuner or you just need to go and create and establish some kind of board, because this deck can also branch off and transfer into just a regular Tenyi play. If you guys saw my Tenyi combo video, you can do the Sahasrara combo that you normally could do in this deck as well. So it just gives the deck a little bit more versatility in that aspect. Next, we have 1 Destrudo. It's just a really solid Foolish Burial target and extender in the deck. It can really open up the line of plays when you feel really clustered and give you access to making Yazi really easily. Next up, we have 3 copies of Vishuda. He's just a really solid level 7. You kind of have to run him. Plus, he also outs things. So, I mean, like the worst case scenario in this deck is summoning a level 7 and a level 1 and making a level 8 synchro, which is just, takes me back to Teledad days. This deck has a very huge Teledad feel to it, so I really do enjoy playing it for that reason. Next up, we have the Ashina. Opening up Odd Hurrah and Ashina, you can make the Crystron Halka Fibrax, and then once you're at the end of your combo, you're going to be using the Ashina to summon a level 1 tuner, or summon a Vishuda, depending on what you needed to drop. So it really depends on what you drew, like I said earlier. But you don't want to just shotgun the Ashina right away when you're doing a synchro combo. You just kind of want to save it and banish it later. But we'll get into that in the combo video. Next up, we have 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This is basically another extender in this deck. You can just send a Destrudo and then just keep going. One for one is also a way into Helka Fibrax. Where Art Thou is really strong in this deck because you can special summon Adhara and then Where Art Thou, normal summon Jet Synchron and make Helka Fibrax. And having Jet Synchron specifically is how you are going to make three big synchro monsters with negates and the counter trap. So it's just really important to play this card, I feel, because it gives you access to Jet Synchron. Next up, we have 3 copies of Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. This is just what's going to allow you to keep doing your normal Tenyi combos, and then also this is really good for the follow-up and grind games of just sending your Tenyis from deck to grave. Next up, for making sure our opponent doesn't interrupt us, we're playing 2 Called By and 3 Crossout. This was mandatory for me. I was originally playing Impermanence, but if you lose to Ash Blossom at the right time, and it really sucks for us. So we have to play the 5 hand trap interrupters. So we really do have to run them. They're really important. 2 copies of Heavenly Dragon Cycle. This doesn't come up too often, but there are some cool plays where if we have our Mare, we contribute the token and then um, special summon a non-effect worm. So like we get to tribute our token and then we can summon like Jiaotu or Chiwen or Zephyr Inui straight from deck, which is just freaking insane to me. I don't know about you guys, but that goes so hard. 1 copy of 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing. This is just a part of our combo. We get to search it and then it just negates everything. So really strong card. And then 1 copy of Vanities, because if we make that board and flip Vanities, they generally scoop. For the extra deck, we have 1 Herald of the Arclight, 1 Danglong, 1 Yazi, 1 Baxia, 1 Borreload Savage Dragon, 1 Draco Berserker, and 1 Chao Fang. What synchro monsters you make depends on if you go first or second, and whether or not you drew the Jet Synchron, or if you drew an extender card like Heavenly Dragon Cycle or Foolish Burial. So making your synchro monsters, it just really depends on what you drew. Next up, we have Link Karibo. Link Karibo is just what makes Jet Synchron a 1-card Halka Fibrax. Almirage is the same. Monk of the Tenyi is just a really solid, like you have to run it in Tenyi because it gives you the non-effect monster, so you have to run it. 1 copy of Halka Fibrax, it just summons your token. This is like your main combo piece. This is the card that starts everything for you. Getting to this is just really important. Shaman of the Tenyi, so you can still do the Sahasrah combo if you desperately need it. Aurora Dawn, once again, this is just a really important combo piece for the deck. And then Sahasrah for the Sahasrah combo. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this deck profile. This deck has been a lot of fun for me. It definitely reminds me of playing Worm Synchro over here in the OCG, and I definitely recommend anybody playing OCG to try this deck. And if you are trying to get some play testing in before Sword Soul comes out with Tenyi combos, highly recommend this deck for you. Very competitive, very obnoxious for your opponents, especially the Eldritch players. Eldritch players will try to play through your board, and even if they have skill drain, like your monsters get so strong, like that you don't really care, and you can also bounce the skill drain with Vishuda, and it's just a really solid deck. I definitely recommend people to try it. It has a lot of like playthrough in the meta right now. It absolutely decimates Sky Striker. Sky Striker just cannot play against this deck. Your monsters are too big and your negates go too wide. So if they don't generate advantage, you just absolutely eat them alive. So yeah, I really hope you guys try the deck out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Gores signing off.